Hey now, Fitzdog. What's up, Fitzdog? It's me, Greg. Welcome to Spokane, Washington, where I am performing at the Spokane Comedy Club this weekend. I'm recording this on Saturday, the 16th of April. If you didn't get your taxes in, do it, little honeys. Get it done. Don't let them come after you. Report everything. So I'm here having a blast. It's a fun town. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is not it's a city, but it's a town. I'm wearing a Carhartt hat. They have a Carhartt shop in town. It's that kind of rugged town where you wear Carhartt and you have calluses on your hand. And when the weather gets warm, which is this week, and by warm I mean it broke 40 degrees. It was 42 degrees, and the sidewalks were crowded with overweight people in shorts and T-shirts, flip-flops. Yup, 42 degrees. And the city is trying to drop a few pounds. Let's just say that. And I'm walking home from the club last night to my hotel, lovely hotel. I'll give him a shout out, but I can't remember the name. It's the Davenport Grand Hotel. And I'm coming around the corner, and there are three very large people, and they're wearing shorts and T-shirts, and they have burritos in their hands, and they're blocking the sidewalk because there's three of them, and that's a lot. And so I'm walking towards them, and then one woman steps out of the way, and as she steps, she rips a fart, and all three of them start laughing, and burrito food is falling out of their mouths. And I laughed, and they laughed, and then I went home. It was just a magic little moment on the street. I'm not saying that represents Spokane. And by the way, it's Spokane. Do not say Spokane. They get very upset. And also, they don't like to be confused with Tacoma, which I did. I had finished my set the first night, and it was Thursday night, and I got kind of a half-ass standing ovation, like maybe 30% of the crowd stood up, and then I said, "Thank you, Tacoma," and literally all of them immediately sat down, and there was some boos, and it hurt my pin sales after the show. They took it very personally. It is kind of conservative. Like, I was doing a joke about how you should wear a mask, and there was some booing. There's booing that goes on for me in Spokane, but overall the crowds are great. But there was this one woman, and I said something about wearing a mask, and then 30 minutes later into my set she goes, "Well, why don't you just put a mask on?" And I was like, "Have you been holding on to that for the last half hour? Has that been just sitting in your craw and you've been mulling it over and it was finally exploded out?" And so I decided to implode her, and I went after her hard because I could tell she was on the edge, and I could tell she was out of control, and I enjoy that energy. And so I threw gas on it, and she blew up, and she was thrown out. It was pretty sweet. I like a good throw out once in a while. Keeps it interesting for the rest of the crowd. I'm working with two great comics this week, both really headliners that also feature. One guy's name is Pat House out of Philly, and the other guy is Dion Curry out of Indianapolis. There was a mix-up. There was a miscommunication, and Dion and Pat both showed up as features. Basically, on a comedy show, you have an MC, and then you have who goes first, and the feature goes second, and he does like a half an hour, and then the headliner goes on after that. These guys both showed up to feature, and that was one too many features. And so basically, we just changed the show, and everybody's on the show. But the people are walking out going like, "Wow, this was a good fucking show." I mean, these guys are crushing. And so people are walking out just going like, "Wow, that was a hell of a show." And I had last night there were a table of 4 women in the front row who were very attractive young women. And then there were 4 very attractive young men to my left. And I said, hey, look at this. We got a lot of single people here. You know, Johnny free and loose on stage. Hey, let me do a little fucking hacky crowd work. So I go, hey, maybe you guys and these guys together. What do you think? And the ladies all go, woo! And they raise the roof and they're very excited. And I look at the men and they're stone-faced. And I go, unless, of course, you gentlemen are homosexuals, and they all just nodded. But because and one of the women booed. She booed that they were homosexuals, and because they did not look gay. They were Washington State gay. They were Brokeback Mountain gay, manly looking, and not to stereotype homosexuals, but you certainly can, and they did not fit the mold. You know, they were wearing flannel shirts and their haircuts were not sharp and crisp. They were just average, frumpy looking dudes. And, but they were great. They were great. They came back from it. They weren't offended. But I've gotten into a lot of trouble this week with doing crowd work. But I don't care. It's what makes me happy. I go through periods in stand-up where I do just material, and I go through periods where I do a lot of crowd work. And lately, I've been very into crowd work. I don't know. It just keeps me alive on stage. I did a show at the store a couple nights ago, and Leslie Jones came in, and Leslie and I are good friends. And she came on, and we bantered. I was kind of heckling her from the audience, and I made her tell this story about. She told me once on my podcast. She used to do my podcast a lot. As a matter of fact, she was going to be like my co-host for a while. And then she got swept up by this thing called Success and moved to New York. Anyway, so I go tell the story about being on tour with Cat Williams that I liked. And she used to get paid. She was paid in cash when she was on tour with Kat, because she's like she's like with the gigs I was coming out of, I don't trust anybody. You fucking pay me cash the night of the show. I get paid cash. And she's like, and I was like, you fucking hillbilly. She was opening for Cat Williams. This was Live Nation, the biggest concert promoter in the country. They hire the Rolling Stones. You can trust them for the fucking money. So she was on the road with him for like 2 months, getting $1,500 a night. And so she came home and she had like $50,000 in cash that she had in like this lockbox that she'd leave on the tour bus. And then she had to go to the bank and show up as this 6-foot-tall black woman trying to hand them $50,000 in cash without raising red flags from the IRS or the fucking CIA or FBI. So fucking she fucking killed. She destroys in comedy clubs. So funny. If you want to date her, by the way, she's actively seeking a guy and I said, what kind of guy do you want? She said, as long as his dick works. She's been with a lot of guys lately whose dicks aren't working. So if you got strong dick, let me know. I'll hook you up with her. What else is going on? Bad news. New Orleans. I was supposed to be performing at the Howlin' Wolf in New Orleans and Club 337 in Lafayette. Those are being postponed. There was a change in ownership of the club, and I got caught in the crossover, and so the dates are not happening. I'll let you know when they do happen, but you can refund your tickets. They're refunding in full. Other dates coming up. I will be in Plainville, Massachusetts at the Plain Ridge Casino, April 23rd. Denver Comedy Works, my second favorite club in the country, April 28th through the 30th. Tacoma Comedy Club, May 19th through 21. Irvine Improv, May 27th through 29. And then Bakersfield, California at the Well on June 11th. I got a bunch of other dates I'm going to be announcing in the next couple weeks, but that's it for now. Go to Fitzdog.com to get your tickets. What else we got? An overheard. Let's do an over. Oh, should I talk about Gilbert? My heart is heavy. Just the fucking blow after blow of comics that I love dying. Gilbert died last week, as everybody knows. I posted our most recent podcast with him. That's up if you want to check it out. I'm very proud of it. It was a fun one. How could it not be with Gilbert Gottfried? But I missed the shit out of the guy already. I mean, just his energy in the comedy world is missed. And what can you say? What can you say? I whatever. I don't even want to talk about it. What else? Oh, when I was flying out here, Mike Gibbons was flying out to Nashville, Tennessee to go see Wheeler Walker Jr., whose new album is #1 on iTunes. #1. And not just in country, in all album sales. And so Gibbs went out there because he was performing at what's the auditorium? I'm forgetting the name. It used to be the original home of the Grand Ole Opry, and now it's, anyway, I'll think of it. But so Gibbs flew out there. So I go through airport security, and I'm waiting at the conveyor belt for my bag to come out. And I look up, and who do I see? Mike Gibbons. I can see him from behind. I'm 90% sure it's Mike Gibbons. And Gibbons has a fake hip. And so he set off the metal detector, and the guy said, "I have to frisk you." So he starts frisking him from in front of him, and so I'm behind him, and so I start. He doesn't see me, and I start frisking him, and I'm grabbing his legs, I'm massaging his ass deep into like the crease between his ass and his leg, digging into his groin almost. And he doesn't fucking say anything. He just puts up with it, and he just assumes they do double teams at TSA now. And then he finally hears me laughing and turns around. It was so fucking funny. What are the odds? Jesus Christ. Oh, I was going to do an overheard. Here's an overheard from Alex in Dedham, Mass. Alex, I hope I see you in Plainville. Over the weekend, my wife and I went to see Martin Sexton in Boston, and at the set break, we both went to the bathroom. As I waited outside the ladies' room for her, she came out laughing and said she overheard the following conversation in the stalls. Drunk girl number 1 yells through the bathroom stall wall to the other one, quote, "Have you seen Melissa Etheridge live before?" And her friend drunkenly replies, "No, but my sister's a lesbian." Well, that's 1 degree of separation. Yeah, that speaks for itself. All right, listen, I don't have a lot of energy, so I'm just going to get into this great interview I did with Erica Rhodes, who's a comic that used to feature for me on the road a lot. She just did a couple weekends ago, only because she had an opening in her schedule. She's mostly a headliner now, but she's a great act. Check her out if you haven't seen her. You would know her from, she was on Veep. She was on Modern Family, New Girl. I think she was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and a million other things. She's great. And we talked a couple weeks ago. And this is our... Oh, and don't forget also, folks, we're getting up near 1,000 episodes of the podcast. If you want to get back episodes, you can get the premium membership at Fitzdog.com. It allows you back access to old episodes with Zach Galifianakis and Sarah Silverman and Jimmy Kimmel and Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys and Bob Saget and Gilbert Gottfried and everybody else. So get that. And also there's Grapefruit Simmons t-shirts. You can get those on the website as well. Okay, that's it. Here's my interview with the great Erica Rhodes. And we're recording. Oh my God.
So exciting.
Erica Rhodes, comic, Rhodes scholar, roadkill. Or you must have gotten teased a lot with that last name as a kid.
You know, actually, I never did.
Well, start now.
Yeah,
Start
now I'm disappointed that no one rose to the occasion.
I know.
Rhodes to the occasion.
Yes. Yeah, all roads lead to nowhere.
Yeah. Lonesome Rhodes.
The road less traveled. The roads less traveled.
Yeah, the roads less traveled. I've said that one before. My special's called La Vie en Rhodes.
What is it?
La Vie en Rhodes, like La Vie en Rose.
Yeah.
La Vie en Rhodes.
I speak French. Does that mean the old rose? Vienne?
No, it just means the life of.
Oh, la vie en.
La vie
en rose.
Yeah, I don't
right.
speak French.
You don't?
No.
That shocks me.
Really?
Yes, I picture you as like, I know you play piano and you play cello and you're from a family that's like kind of esoteric and educated in New England, and I sort of thought that you spoke French.
Well, I took French, but I also took Spanish, and they just sort of canceled each other out.
Oh, really?
And I took a little Russian, and that really did me in. So now it all canceled each other out.
Are you part Russian? Is that why you took it?
No, I was in love with a Russian boy when I was in high school.
Oh.
And so so it inspired me to take Russian, but all the other kids were Russian. So I was not competing, but like they were all speaking Russian, and I was just counting to 10. Like I just remember like один, два, три, четыре, семь, you know. And so I was trying to learn that, and everybody else was way more advanced. And then he broke up with me. And so I dropped the class, and the teacher knew him, and she goes, I have a feeling Leo and you broke up, huh? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I understand. I was like, I don't want to take Russian anymore.
So you dropped a high school class because of a breakup?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because why would I take Russian otherwise?
Well, because you have to complete your curriculum. You can't just drop classes in high school.
But I think it was an extra credit course, because
right.
I was already taking Spanish.
Right.
So I think you just need one language. So it's
what
like
was his
extra.
name?
His name was Leo.
Leo?
Leo. Or the Russian version would be Lev.
Oh.
Yeah.
I talked about a girl that I asked out in junior high school. I was in 7th grade, and I asked out this girl named Charlotte Bourne, and I talked about it on my podcast about how she kind of broke my heart at 12.
Oh.
Like, she made it so that I was afraid to ask out other girls because she just straight up said no. Not like, well, I like it. It's just no.
So you didn't, so you never tried again after that?
I didn't ask out a girl until college. I mean, I went out with girls, but it was always like, you know, we're at a keg party and then we go make out and then we start hanging out a little bit. But I never had the gumption to, like, you know, in a very linear fashion, ask a girl to go out with me. I just couldn't do it.
Because I remember doing a similar thing where I wrote a note to a kid I had a huge crush on named Kirk. And I wrote a note that I gave to my friend. Like, I couldn't even deliver the note. So my friend delivered the note for me saying, do you like Erica? Check yes or no. And it was not ever returned. And after that, I've never asked anyone out. Yeah, I got ghosted in middle school before texting even existed.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. That first rejection sticks with you.
It does.
You feel it for a while. You're like, I still remember how embarrassed it felt.
But then she texted me. She heard the podcast of me talking about her.
She did?
And she texted me.
What did she...
She got my number through, like, she's in like a Words with Friends group with a friend of mine, Brian Van Horn, and she asked him for my number and then texted me that she was sorry that she said no.
Oh my God, that's amazing!
Yeah, it was very nice.
My guy died.
How did that make you feel when you found out he died?
It's horrible to laugh at. I was sad. He was young. I don't know what happened.
What do you mean you don't know what happened?
I don't know how he died. I just saw somebody post about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is Kirk or this is Lev?
Yeah, his name was Kirk.
Yeah.
No, Leo's still very much alive. He's a violinist.
He is?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever play together?
Yeah, we were in orchestra together. It was very romantic.
That is romantic.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to, make out in the music room with the piano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people didn't find out until American Pie that the band kids are actually
They're the crazy ones.
Yeah.
Like, music camp is wild.
Yeah?
Yeah. I always dated in music camp.
You'd go away where'd you go, to Wildwood in the summer?
I went to I went to a school called New England Music School.
Uh-huh.
Wait, no, New England Music Camp.
Yeah.
In Maine.
Oh.
And then I went to Tanglewood, which you're drinking a Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
Out of a Martha's Vineyard mug.
Yes, the black dog.
So yeah, I went to Tanglewood one summer too.
Uh-huh. Was Tanglewood amazing? That just sounds like such a dream.
It was so amazing. It was really amazing. We just ate ice cream all day and then played music all day.
I mean, I've never been there. I've only heard about all the amazing concerts and the camps and the schools and the,
the air is so fresh out. Like, it's just beautiful.
The Berkshires, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it there.
I got offered, when I got out of college, I was lucky, and my heart goes out to people like you that started comedy when you did, because it's tough out there.
It is just weird. Yeah.
And when I started, I got offered a job out of college to teach. I was in an improv troupe for a couple years, and then I was doing stand-up, and I'd taken a lot of acting classes. So they offered me a job teaching at Tanglewood.
Oh, really?
They had like an acting program. And it would have been a real job as opposed to stand-up.
Yeah.
And I really thought about it. And I thought, I owe this to my parents for putting me through college. And then I went, no, I want to do stand-up. And I didn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you turned it down. Because that is a good job.
It is a good job. But the thing is, like, what I was saying about you starting now is, like, when I started, there was so much work. Boston, Maine, New Hampshire,
I know. You
Rhode
hear
Island.
it's like the golden days of comedy, and now it's like, oh, please book me for 10 minutes somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where did you start in Boston, or did you start here in LA?
I started out here, actually.
Oh, the hardest place in the world to start.
I know. It's really weird to start here.
Yeah.
Because I was like starting at Flappers and just bombing there and just bombing everywhere.
How long ago did you start?
Now it's been 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. I'm at the 10-year mark.
That's the mark.
Is that the mark? Because it feels like when you kind of feel like you want to quit.
Yeah, I can see that as a wall. But you're kind of like, I sort of, just from seeing you on Instagram and following what you're doing date-wise, like you seem to be working A rooms. Like you're going out and I knew you from
the beginning.
From the beginning when you used to open for me, and I was always like, wow, this girl's going somewhere,
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have just a great presence, and you have a unique way of setting up a joke. You don't go straight to you don't race to the punchline. You kind of get into it and you play with it, and you just have a voice, and it's the kind of thing like
nice.
Well, because anybody can write jokes and stand up and tell them, but you have a personality on stage, and I think that that's going to serve you well. And it is, because now you've gone from featuring to headlining, and in good rooms.
That's true. I think what's hard, and tell me if you agree with this, it feels very hard to write the second hour. I feel like the first hour took me a long time to write because I was starting comedy and learning how to do a comedy. But then it's like now I'm trying to write a second hour, and I'm going out and headlining, and half of it I'm trying to do new, and half of it's old, and I can't stand the old stuff anymore.
Right.
And yet, why is it so hard to write a second? I feel like after the second hour, then people are like, oh, now I can write the third and fourth and fifth.
Right.
But the second feels like the hardest one to write.
I think so, because I think you are breaking out of a shell. Like that first hour, you've done it so many times.
Yes.
That you feel comfortable with it. It's like a warm blanket. But you got to shed that blanket, because that second hour is more you than the first one is.
Yes.
You're getting closer to your real voice the more you do it. The more you do new. And I've been in a slump. I tell you, the pandemic.
Really?
I was not really that good during the pandemic.
No, but when I saw you last, I hadn't heard any of that stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it felt completely new.
Yeah, I mean, I have new stuff, but not like. I think immediately coming out of pandemic, I had nothing.
Okay, well, when I saw you, it felt very fresh.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I did not remember any of those jokes.
Good. But but I think the second hour, I think every time you do new material, it's like you're forced to go from outside to inside more because you've already explored the outside stuff.
Yes.
And you are a very personal comedian. Your stuff is very vulnerable.
That's what I'm trying to do. And thanks for saying that, because that's what I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to go deeper with that.
Yeah.
Because I just had this weird cathartic moment. I don't know if cathartic is the right word, but I had a mini breakthrough last night where I realized that what I think comedy is saying things that other people can't say.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you have to be like controversial, political, or edgy in that way. It just means you have to say something that's hard for you personally to say.
Right.
And if you can do that, then other people are like, oh my God, I wish I could say that.
I think that's it exactly.
Right?
I think,
So,
I mean, you look at Chelsea Handler, like, Jesus Christ, that was 100% of her appeal. She was the girl saying stuff that everybody wanted to say at their job, to their friends, whatever. And not that she's I don't think she's not vulnerable at all.
no.
But I still think that she's a woman who is speaking out in a way that, like, I think female audiences really respond to that. Even
Right.
Not that your crowd is all female, but I mean, if that can be your base, women are the ones that buy tickets.
I was thinking that I can tell that I'm starting to get funnier because hot women are DMing me more.
Nice.
Like I'm getting DM messages like, you are so funny, but it's like some hot girl, and I'm like,
your crowd is getting better looking.
Yeah, they're getting really hot.
And if your crowd is hot, then the guys come to the show.
Oh yeah, and then they'll be hot.
Right. Maybe you should have like bikini top night at your shows.
Oh my God.
Do have wet t-shirt contests? I don't know. Like, get the guys in there. Yeah,
that's terrible.
But so where was was Cleveland the first time we ever worked together?
Oh my God, was it? Because that was so funny, because I was struggling pretty hard. And then remember you were like, try crowd work.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Why don't you go do crowd work?
And that blew up.
And then I bombed so bad. And you were like, don't listen to me.
Oh my God, that's right. I just remember you asking questions, and they were all like closed out yes or no questions. And then you would ask, and then they would say something, and then it just ended.
And normally I'm pretty good at crowd work. Like normally that would be good advice.
Right.
But for whatever reason, that night it just felt totally flat. And you were like, just don't ask me. Just do what you were going to do.
Giving advice is tricky.
Yeah.
You want to, but it's usually not the right thing. I mean, it's so rare that you can give good advice that works. Other than just the fundamentals.
You've given me other pieces of advice that works.
Well, probably things like, write a lot and do whatever, but as opposed to like do this specific thing.
But I mean, you were also saying, break it up. Like, I could have taken that also as like maybe switch the order up, or like just do something different than do something different.
Oh, that's so great. I wish we recorded that. That's what you should put on Instagram, is bad crowd work.
Oh my God.
Everybody has these great moments.
Oh my God, that's a great idea.
Just you asking people questions and they answer, and then there's no follow-up, and then it's just dead
I
air.
love that idea.
That's yours.
Okay.
Do that.
Yeah, you've given me good advice about like stuff like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
But yeah, we were laughing really hard about when I opened for you in La Jolla because of that guy that I went on a date with.
That's right. How did you meet that guy? It was online.
I think I met him online.
Yeah.
And then I told you about it, and I was like, I might have gotten murdered. And
you went on a hike on a first date.
Yeah.
And wasn't it like an isolated trail? Like there was nobody else around.
And he was like talking about, I forget what he was talking about. It was like something very close to like a nervous breakdown that he had, a mental illness issue.
Right.
And we were like overlooking like a cliff.
And suddenly you're holding his hand and it's not out of affection. You're just
Yeah.
trying to prevent him from jumping.
It was just, yeah. That was funny. I just remember you being like, you should do that on stage. And then I pussied out and I didn't do it.
Oh.
I should have. Because now I forget the story. You know, like I feel
remember pieces of it. I think
should
he
have done
lived.
it.
I think he lived at home with his mother. I seem to remember that, and he was like a car dealer or something.
No, I thought he was like a physical therapist.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
what it was.
maybe we shouldn't disclose a lot, but
No,
no.
no.
He was, I mean, he was perfectly nice, but it
Yeah.
was just not what I thought.
Yeah. How's the dating going now?
I'm kind of talking to someone, but it's very new.
Yeah.
So I like haven't told anyone about it because I get like weirdly superstitious
Yeah.
about jinxing things.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but
Yeah.
did you meet him in person or online?
I've known him for a while.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So it's like a friendship that's sort of turned a little bit to something else.
Very nice.
Yeah, which I
Yeah.
think is that's good because you kind of already know each other.
What's the longest relationship you've ever had?
I dated someone for 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
But when I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
And we're still friends.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's good.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
23 years I've been married.
I was going to ask you, what about you?
23 years.
And what was the most difficult year?
The year I wrote a book, I was staffed on a TV show. I was writing on a TV show. I had a book deal. I had a development deal at ABC.
Oh my God.
And I was going on the road. And I was doing my podcast.
So you weren't there.
I just was not there. And I don't know if I had a nervous breakdown. I mean, what's the definition? I really...
Did you go to the hospital?
I stopped being able to breathe.
Oh, my
and
God.
I threw a coffee cup across the room,
Oh my God.
smashed it against the wall.
Was
Not
somebody-
at her.
not
I was
at-
angry at myself, and
Right.
she said, "I think you need to see somebody." And I went to a therapist, and it helped a lot. I got prescribed a lot of drugs.
Is that before you started meditating?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. This is when I just was like, because I don't drink, and so I'm like a white knuckle drunk. I haven't processed anything. I haven't learned anything.
Right.
I just don't do it.
Right. Wait. Oh, so like I see. So you're not an AA person.
No, I should
You didn't
be.
you didn't do all that stuff.
No,
But you just don't. It's all willpower.
it's
not,
all willpower.
That's really hard.
It is hard.
That is really hard.
But Irish people are like that. Like, we're really good. I think from Catholicism of like, here's the 10 rules. Don't break these rules.
Yeah.
And if you do, you come in and we shame you about it. You tell us and we shame you.
So you've never done any kind of like 12-step anything.
No, I went to Al-Anon. My father was an
Oh.
alcoholic. He died young.
Oh.
And so I went to.
That probably helped. 'cause
Yeah, it
you
did. I
probably-
learned the 12 steps, and they're very helpful. They're good steps.
Okay.
Do you want to know them?
I think I know them.
Okay. Have you been to 12 step? That's a personal question.
No, I haven't, but I think Al-Anon would probably be a good one for me to go
Yeah.
to. I don't have alcohol issues, but I have some codependent tendencies.
Right.
And some like a lot of those things that are about external validation and that kind of stuff.
Right. Right. Codependence is intense.
I didn't even know that I had any of that until I really got a good therapist and figured that out.
Really?
Yeah, I did not recognize any of it.
So you would lose. I mean, one of the things about codependence is you sort of lose yourself in a relationship, and you're no longer able to see it clearly. It's all a big
Yeah, and I would do that a lot with non-relationships. So it wouldn't be a real relationship. I would project sort of a fantasy thing onto it.
Oh.
Yeah, I
What
would
was the
sort of-
fantasy?
That it was a relationship.
You sound like a psychopath. So you go to the Starbucks,
You sound like a
you order a latte, and you're having a relationship with this guy. You go every morning. He doesn't realize it.
I mean, there would be a little more interaction than that, you know, like we would date a little bit and then, you know, he would be in and out of the relationship without it being committed or anything.
But you were committed.
But I would be like madly in love with him.
Right. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough in LA because guys mostly want that kind of relationship. They want to float in and out.
And I didn't understand that. Like when I first moved to LA, I was so naive. Like I just did not.
Did you move directly from Boston?
No, New York.
Oh, you were in New York for a while?
Yeah, for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
That's when I dated the guy that I was with for a long time. So.
And you were there for acting?
Yeah. I did acting school.
What school?
Atlantic Theater Conservatory.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And
I feel like we talked about, did we not talk about that last time?
I think we might have
mentioned
it. Yeah, because I went to the...
Because you went to acting school, too.
Yeah, I went to the neighborhood playhouse.
Oh, okay.
Meisner.
Because we called Greg.
What?
We called Greg Hahn.
Oh,
remember?
right.
Because he took an acting class, and like his bit about acting class is so funny.
That's right, and he killed it. He called in and he did the bit. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about that.
So if you're enjoying this podcast, go back and listen to the last one too.
Yeah.
Part 1.
You have great fans, by the way. They love you.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah. When I did your podcast the last time, I got so many people.
Really?
Like, Greg's the best.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not a lot of people, but they're very, very passionate.
That matters way more.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it is funny when I just saw on TikTok, like, fucking Tom Segura getting off a private jet in New York for his shows, and you're just like, I hope to get upgraded to first class sometimes. That's all.
Yeah.
But I really, I try not to go down that road.
Well, it's interesting because it feels like there's so many ways to have a really satisfying career without it being like that.
Right.
You know, like I look at so many careers where I'm just like, wow, like just to be able to do it every night and wherever you want and then have the freedom to just like experiment if you want, you know, like you could at any point just be like, I'm just going to do a whole new hour and nobody would, you know, they wouldn't care. It's not the pressure of like a stadium. I don't know. I feel like if there's a stadium, there's a lot of pressure to like.
Yeah, there's a lot more media, more promotion, more handlers.
Yeah, more money. Like there's money. There's all these people. I don't know.
I just think about some of these guys. They make like $1 million for one show.
Oh my God.
You know, if you do Madison Square Garden, you get $1 million. Like,
all right.
I just want to do one of those.
Forget it. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds good. But anyway, I want to get back to the codependence because I think that's a really interesting area. Because as comedians, by definition, we are looking for acceptance.
Well, exactly. That's what my whole therapy has been, trying to unravel that and figure out. Like, what's ironic about that is that you get into comedy maybe for that, right? Maybe for some validation from an external source. But then in order to get good at comedy, you have to not care about that validation.
Yes.
So it's like a really weird catch-22.
Yes, I guess the validation you're looking for has to be the material, but not your core self.
And also, the reaction can't dictate exactly what you do, or you become, you know, then you pander or whatever. Yeah. You know, you have to be true to yourself within that context. But yeah, you're getting paid, you know, supposedly to make people laugh. So if you don't make them laugh, you're not delivering what they're there for. Right. So it's really strange.
So how is that search for you affected your stand-up? Does it make you perform in a different way?
It's made me question a lot of it because I think a lot of my passion comes from the writing of it. Right. Like I love writing, and then I started blogging more, like writing short stories.
Yeah, I read some of your blogs. They're great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And I feel like there's a difference of how I feel when I'm writing versus performing. Right. And so what I've been trying to do is sort of figure out that feeling, because I feel really authentic when I write. But then on stage, there's something that happens where I feel a little bit like forced or programmed or like, I don't know, I feel a little bit contrived up there, or something feels not quite real about my performing. Right. So I'm trying to get to a more real place whatever that
just
means.
the word performing is a weird choice because
I don't want to perform. That's what I mean.
Right.
I don't want to feel that I'm performing, but I still sometimes feel that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's hard to jump from the writing to that whatever that is, you know, to the
communicating or the connecting.
Like I feel less connected somehow when I'm speaking, which is a strange thing because that's what I chose as a profession.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But stand-up is such an open medium. I mean, you can go up there with a guitar, you can bring a puppet, you can fucking walk into the crowd. There's nothing stopping a comedian from walking into the crowd with a wireless mic and doing nothing but go table to table and talk to people. And that would probably kill but nobody does it. Nobody brings a guitar on stage anymore. I feel like
they do.
Not that many.
Really?
There used to be tons of guitar acts.
Oh my God, I feel like I see it. You know, yeah, maybe not as much, but
I only know of one or two guys that do it regularly in LA.
I mean, people tell me I should bring my cello up there, but I'm like, but to do what? I mean, I don't want to lug my cello around.
No.
You know, like.
Can you play violin?
No.
I bet you can.
Cannot.
EADG.
You can't just change from cello to violin.
That sounded so profound.
It sounded so judgy. I was like, Greg.
But it is interesting because I feel the same way when I write. It's like, first of all, you write a ton and then you bring it on stage and it's like you have to condense. Like you realize how much of it is shit. And when it's coming out of your mouth, it's not what you pictured when you wrote it down.
Exactly.
And so it's like this process of finding a way to take that version of the words and come up with a new version of, for lack of a better word, performing it. And it's like translating a language in a way because you have to find beats and you have to find rhythm and you have to find where's the laugh going to, you don't always know when you're writing it where the laugh is going to come.
Right.
Sometimes you discover a laugh on something that, sometimes you have a very specific observation or a turn of phrase that's in the setup that gets a big laugh. Now all of a sudden when you do it next time, you're going to give that a little beat. You're going to give that space for them to fill in the laugh. And that can become a trap. Because then you're playing to that spot in that laugh and you're breaking up what your normal flow of speaking would be.
Right.
But at the same time, that is what comedy is.
Right. Well, that's why I feel like my best writing lately has been when I'm writing on stage in the moment.
Right.
So because then the filter comes off and then the actual way that I speak will come out.
Yeah.
And then almost like you have to write after. Then you have to write. In order to recreate it, you have to write it down so you remember it.
Yeah.
But also then you kind of know where the beats are. But I feel like the creative process is writing on my feet. Like I think that's maybe going to be the secret.
It seems to me, it's different for everybody, but for me, if I could sit down and just vomit a bunch of stuff on the page.
Yeah.
And then take a couple passes on turning it into what I think it'll sound like. And then going on stage and letting it go, having an opening line and a closing line, and then exploring in the middle.
Yeah.
And record that and listen to the recording.
The beginning and ending. Yeah, if you can have just that. And then, because then you almost want it to be free in the middle. You don't want to feel like it has to be verbatim.
Yeah.
Like I have one joke that's new, but I've changed the way that I'm delivering. Like it was so written. It's like a very written joke, you know, where I just repeat the same word, you know. And it wasn't, I mean, it's working, but not in a very fulfilling way. And then I finally felt like I got the emotion behind it, where it's like, I think I finally got the feeling of I'm just kind of, you know, I let myself be more crazy in it. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, it's really funny because you see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I think if I let myself be like, you know, as neurotic and kind of crazy as I am,
right,
without feeling like I have to control it on stage somehow.
Well, that's what's funny is that when you go on stage and you are in the pocket and you've got some material that you're connecting to and you're letting yourself, you're indulging yourself to explore. Yeah. That's the real you.
Yes.
That's what's so frightening about stand-up and the addiction of it is that many of us are caught up until we're on stage.
Right. Yeah. But then also if you can have the jokes like that you depend on, but then around the jokes be really authentic you, then it's almost seamless. You know, like when I watch people that have been doing it as long as you have, I can't always tell what's improvised and what's a joke and what's just talking. I can't tell always.
Well,
that's like the magic trick, I think.
Yeah. And I think that's the key to selling merch. If you can sell your merch in the same voice as you're doing your routine, you're going to move a lot of fucking stuff.
I need merch just because I don't know how to do chit chat after a show. Like without merch, you're just standing there and they're like, hi, so how long have you been doing this? And you're just like, oh, when does the conversation, how do we end the transaction? You know, you just keep talking. I mean, I like the people, but
there's always one person at every show that drank too much and doesn't get the flow of like that you're trying to say hi to other people also. Yeah,
they just stand there and you're like, okay.
I got merch for you.
What is it?
Pins.
Oh.
Wait, do I have one up here?
Oh my God. Who makes those? Oh, I love that.
There's a guy in LA, he's an artist, and he made them for, there's a bunch of comics that have them now. Not a lot. You'll be on the ground floor.
Really?
And they make them in China. It's real lead.
Oh my gosh.
That's Chinese lead.
Chinese lead. As opposed to Russian lead.
And you sell them after the show. And the best part is you just got a bag of pins. You don't have to pack an extra suitcase with T-shirts and sizes.
God. I want to do that.
You're great. I'm gonna set you up with the guy. You're gonna make pins.
Okay.
They sell like crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
How much do you charge for?
$10.
$10?
$10.
And so how much do you make on each one?
I can't. I want to talk about my financial details on the air. I mean, what are you, the tax man?
Yes. I need to do my taxes. Okay.
So
this is very cute.
Yeah. I'd let you have it, but I lost the backing.
That's a good hat too. Good hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the back? It's dangerous. Do they let you on with that on the plane?
They always stop me because I'll bring a couple hundred of them in my bag,
then
they stop me at security.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
And they pull it out, and I have to explain that I'm a comedian. They're always like, "Why do you have all these pins of yourself?"
Can you make them as? Can you make them as magnets instead?
I'll ask them.
Wouldn't that be cute? A little magnet?
Magnet would be cute.
Yeah.
I always pitch it as if you have a denim jacket or a knapsack, or you just have that drawer in your house with the flashlight and the dead batteries in it.
I feel like this looks good here. They can't see this, but I'm putting it. Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So let me get to some questions that I wrote down for you. I've done a thing lately where I've started to ask comedians the same questions.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Just because my show, I've been doing this podcast for 12 years and I have no structure. There's no structure.
But you're good at it. I mean, if you're good at it, you don't need structure.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
You do Stardom. Are you still doing Stardom with Bill Dwyer?
No, that was like ages ago.
So you should update your website.
A lot of things need updating. Yeah.
So you don't do a podcast?
I don't have a podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Every fucking Hollywood A-lister has to have a podcast now.
I know. Everyone's got one. I want to do the opposite. I want to do more and more writing. Like I want to do writing on Substack.
What's that?
It's another website that's like Medium. I write on Medium, but Substack, I think it's by subscription. So I haven't figured out how to use it yet. I keep getting free subscribers, but I need to charge them so that, then you could get like yearly subscriptions.
Wow.
And then you can make
pay
money.
You like $2 a month to read your blog.
Yeah.
And no one else gets to read it.
Right.
I like that.
Yes.
Plus it forces you to keep writing.
Exactly. So I want to put my energy in that as opposed to a podcast.
It's funny because you were an early podcaster in the sense that, didn't you tell me you started with Garrison Keillor?
Yeah, I started on Prairie Home Companion.
Yeah. For years, right?
Yeah, like for most of my life. But I mean on and off.
Yeah.
But since I was 10.
Did I ask you because I know he got canceled. Was he ever creepy with you?
He's my uncle.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, by marriage. He's my uncle by marriage.
Oh, I feel so bad now that I asked you that.
No, that's
question.
okay.
All right. Who do you want to give your eulogy when you die?
Oh my God. Wow.
I know. We'll get right to it. That's the first question. You can't imagine what's coming next.
Who do I want to give my eulogy when I die? Jeez. Well, if he's still alive, I think Garrison would give a good one.
Really?
Yeah, he'd give a really good eulogy.
Yeah, that would be
He'd be like,
awesome.
she made people laugh. She was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Garrison Keillor. And he would do that, those long pauses.
Yeah,
You'd
he
hear the
would
crackling in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Is he still broadcast?
He's doing live shows and he's still writing.
Okay.
So, but I don't know about broadcasts. I don't think he does.
He's old now, huh?
He's 78 or 9.
Oh, that's it? Oh, I thought he was older than that.
Yeah, I don't think. Wait. Yeah, no, I don't think he's in
Do
his 80s
you want to still
yet.
be working when you're 79?
Yeah, I think it's good to keep working. You know?
Not
You don't
me.
want to be?
Fuck that.
But I want to be more I want to like write a book and things like that.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Don't have a nervous breakdown, though.
No. So are you saying writing the book gave you the nervous breakdown?
Well, it was that I didn't give myself the space to write it. I was trying to do too many other things. And as a stand-up, that's always our inclination because we're such scramblers.
Right.
You know, we're scrappy. It's like we're always looking for the next gig. We don't say no to a lot, and it's hard because you kind of can't. I mean, if you're going to make a living, you got to do
right, because you lose momentum so quickly. That's what I find. It's like if you don't work for a month, your whole momentum is gone.
Yes. And I just think about how many. I always laugh when I see online, if you want to be wealthy, have a second stream of income. I'm like, I've got 11.
You have 11?
I don't know, but I mean, I've got pins. I got podcast ads. I got stand-up. I've got Sirius XM residuals on my stand-up that comes in. I get residuals on my writing. I sell T-shirts
you're rich.
online.
You're saying
no,
you're
and
not?
I'm saying, and I'm not. Well, I'm fine.
You're fine.
I'm
yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I bought a house in Venice years ago.
You're fine.
So that keeps me afloat.
Then you're totally fine.
Yeah. Do you own property?
No.
You're renting?
I'm renting.
I'd like to see you buy something this year.
This year?
Well, you're stepping up. You're doing really well.
I don't feel like I'm doing that well.
I think you are. I predict that 2022 is going to be a very big year for you.
Really?
Yes, I do.
I like that.
Yeah, I feel strongly about that. I think that I see you sometimes on the road. You're out there with Stanhope. I saw you out there with Tom Papa. I see you in these A-rooms.
I'm opening for you.
Opening for
We're
me.
We're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
Plug that.
You're going to be down in Irvine. You're still waiting about San Diego. I texted him today to find out if San Diego's happening.
That would be fun.
That would be really fun.
That would be so fun.
If
they could just give me a hotel.
I know. It's so fucking weird. It's so weird. Irvine.
Yes.
On May 27th, 28th, and 29th, you're going to come down.
Yes.
And we're going to do some shows
together. That's going to be
together.
so much fun.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And that's a fun room.
Yeah, I've done it before.
It's big.
It is big.
I don't sell it out. I think it's like 500 or 600 seats.
Whoa.
But it doesn't matter. Even if it's
Right.
half full, it's still like amazing.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, they treat you great.
Yeah.
Treat you like a fucking star.
Yes.
That's all I want.
That's all. That's what you are, Greg. You're
Thank
a star.
I'm a star.
You're a star.
As they would say in your hometown. What town are you from in Mass?
Newton.
Oh, Newton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
that. Oh, yeah. Jesus. Is Conan from Newton?
Brookline, where I was born. I grew up in Brookline till I was like 8.
Okay. So between Brookline and Newton, you've got Jonathan Katz.
Yep, who
Louie.
just texted me today.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the greatest.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan Katz, Louis C.K.,
Yes.
Conan O'Brien.
Brookline.
Brookline.
John Krasinski's from Newton.
Krasinski. This is not...
Matt LeBlanc is from Newton.
This is not a big town. This is a little suburban town.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's an outlier of sorts with comics.
And then there's a million comics people haven't heard of, James Lemur, and there's a bunch of people that have been... we're forgetting a bunch of names.
I know, I feel like... BJ Novak's also from Newton.
Right.
BJ Novak. I think he went to the same high school that I did.
It's very Jewish, right?
Very Jewish. I thought most people were Jewish when I grew up.
Wait, this can't be right. Amy Poehler?
Yeah, Amy Poehler. I didn't know if she was from Newton or Brookline or somewhere else.
Says right here, Newton, Mass.
Really?
Amy Poehler. Then you got Matt LeBlanc.
Yep.
BJ Novak. Robert Preston? Don't know him.
don't know him.
Eli Roth. You know Eli Roth?
Yes. I don't know him, but I know of him.
Great director.
Yeah. An actor, right?
And actor. That's amazing. That is just amazing.
I know. It's bizarre.
Jack Lemmon.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Lemmon.
I forgot about that
My favorite
one.
comedic actor of all time, Jack Lemmon.
I didn't know he was. I don't think I knew that one. Wow. Or I vaguely knew it.
Wait, this says Matt Damon, but he was born in Cambridge. All right. Anyway, enough about that. All right, so we got that question. Now I want to ask you about.
I forget what the question was. What was the question?
Who's going to give you your eulogy?
Oh,
You
wow.
already
Yeah.
did that.
Okay.
How would you do in prison, and what strategies would you use?
Oh, I think I'd do bad at first, and then I would adapt.
Right.
That's what I'm guessing. I think I would. They would. This is what happened. I'm basing this solely on the time that I was in a children's theater tour, which is very similar to prison.
Yes.
We had to set up our own sets.
Uh-huh.
We had to perform for 7-year-old terrorists, and we
Wow.
had to perform at 7 a.m.
In a school?
in a school setting.
Oh, my God.
And
How old were you?
I was 21.
Wow.
And at the beginning, everyone hated me. Like, they saw me as a spoiled brat who didn't want to do anything. And I was...
Who's everyone in the theater company?
Yeah, there were like 8 of us.
Okay.
And we were, spending a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And they did not like me. Nobody talked to me. I could tell they were like shit talking behind my back, and they
Do you think you came off as sort of a precious suburban blonde girl with a
Yes.
high voice?
Yes,
Yeah.
and like like a privileged snob, who didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And then gradually, like, I started to realize, if you wait long enough, and if you're with the same group long enough, each person will have a moment where everybody hates that one person.
Yeah.
So everyone gangs up on one person. And once I noticed that, I was like, it's good I got it out of the way at the beginning. Because then gradually they realized, she's not like that. She's different. She's, she will work. She will do this. I never drove the van, but I didn't know how to drive yet.
You didn't get to drive the van?
I didn't know how to drive yet.
That would have been so fucking cool. Because then you get to pick the songs on the radio.
True. We listened to, I remember some of the songs we listened to. We listened to a lot of Smiths.
Uh-huh.
A lot of Smiths, and we listened to some Jason Mraz, because Jason Mraz was big at that moment.
I can't picture people listening to the Smiths and then doing children's theater. That doesn't make sense.
The whole experience was very vivid in my memory.
Yeah.
Like, it was interesting,
How
because
long
we
did you
did
do that for?
280 shows
No.
of Ramona Quimby
No.
for children
Wait,
in the
Ramona
morning.
Quimby was a Beverly Cleary book.
Yeah, but then they
How about
like
that
made
fucking
it a
poll?
play.
How about that poll?
That poll?
Me knowing that.
Yeah, no, that was
was
impressive.
pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
You are a feminist.
Well, I love that. I was when I was a kid, because my favorite writers were Beverly Cleary, Judy Blume.
Oh, wow.
Remember Judy Blume?
Yeah, of course.
Met her on Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, really?
Yep.
My niece likes her.
She's great.
Yeah. Is that it?
What have you turned down
Oh, wait,
recently?
I didn't finish the explanation of prison.
Oh, yeah. So
So
prison.
then basically what my point is that I think they'd all hate me in the beginning, and then they'd realize, oh no, she can be more scrappy than you think.
Have you been in a fist fight?
No.
Okay. But you think you do okay in one?
I think I could rise to the challenge if I'm like, if adrenaline kicks in.
I always think about if I had, because usually you get sentenced. Usually you have that 3 months between the crime and when they put you away.
Yeah.
And I always think, like, if I knew I was going away, I would go to CrossFit. I would go to Krav Maga.
Yeah.
6 hours a day, I
Train.
would be training for that first fight.
But I think the mental training is more important.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of psychology that happens in prison, and that's why I think I would do okay, because I think
Right.
I'm pretty good at psychology
Yeah.
and human behavior.
So you would just have to find your gang. You have to find the other blonde, spoiled suburban girls.
No, I would find the opposite. I would cozy up to the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how you get safe.
Yeah.
No, another blonde is not going to keep you safe.
Be the token blonde in the
yeah.
tough gang.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that
yeah,
strategy.
there you go.
What have you turned down recently?
What have I turned down recently? Definitely most podcasts.
Really?
Yeah, I've mostly not been I haven't been really wanting to do a lot of them unless I really like
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't know the person, I tend to turn it down now.
Yeah.
Because I just don't really want to have a conversation of like the introduction stuff. How did you get into comedy?
Yeah.
I don't want those questions really.
It's tough, and especially when you get halfway through it and you realize, like, these guys didn't plan this at all. There's no script. There's no forethought. They just thought, we'll just hang. It's like, I can hang with my friends. I don't need to hang with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel comfortable or fun.
Yeah. And then you got to drive 45 minutes to get... Where do you live, by the way?
I live in Pacific Palisades.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Who the fuck lives in Pacific Palisades? I don't know one other person.
I am the poorest person in my neighborhood.
Oh, my God. So you hike a lot?
I go to the beach a lot. I like walk to the beach a lot.
Oh, my God.
I can walk
Pacific
across the street
Palisades.
to the beach.
I think Tom Segura and Christina lived there for a little
They
bit.
probably have a bigger place. I have a
place.
place as big as like your studio.
Really?
Yeah. It's tiny. But it is by the beach.
You want to be near the beach?
I do like it. It helps.
Palisades is great, by the way. I love it.
I know.
We go hiking there all the time. We go to
I
Will
keep
Rogers
forgetting
State Park.
to hike.
Yeah.
I like to go on walks, but I forget. And I do a lot of yoga.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's your workout, yoga?
Yeah.
You take
I
classes?
go every
or you
morning.
You go to a place?
Yeah, I go to hot yoga.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, hot yoga is, I think, all you need.
Yeah, I think so too. Because you sweat it all out,
Yep.
and
But
you get a workout.
You're stretching your muscles.
And they do other things I'll take bar class there, and that's more cardio.
Yeah, my friend Matt has done hot yoga every single morning for the last 9 months without missing a single day. He's obsessed.
Matt who?
Matt Malloy, the actor.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I love it. And it's good for your mental health.
Good.
Like meditation is too.
Have you ever not finished a set?
Like when you get up there and not finishing it?
Yeah, you ever not finish a show?
That's a really good question. Have I ever walked off in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Good for you.
Yeah, I've never.
I would have ended the podcast right now if you said you had. I don't have
really?
guests on. I don't have guests on that. No, the only time I walked off is I got hit in the chest by an apple.
Oh
Not
my
by
God.
an apple. Somebody threw an apple and it hit me in the chest. I was opening for They Might Be Giants at
Oh,
Kent
wow.
State University, and it was an outdoor daytime show. And
Was
they
this
were drunk.
recent?
No, many years ago.
Oh.
It's the only time I ever walked off stage. I got hit and I went, "Have a nice day.
Wow.
I'm out."
Wow. Why did they throw an apple at you?
Because they wanted to see They Might Be Giants. They're coming.
Oh.
They're gonna come. It's just gonna do 20 minutes.
Oh, I will say that when I opened for Doug Stanhope, there was a big fight that broke out.
Really?
Yeah, there was a huge fight. This guy kept heckling me, and I just knew I didn't want to engage, and I was almost done. And this woman yelled at him, and then he yelled something horrible at her. Like, she was like, "Shut up!" And then he yelled something at her, and then she threw a glass at him or something like that.
No.
Someone threw a glass.
Whoa.
And there was a huge blowout fight. And so it's not that I was about to finish my set, but I think Doug heard the commotion. So at the very end of my set, I was like, I think there's a fight happening. And then Doug heard it. And so Doug just kind of walked out early.
I think I saw a photo of you and him on stage together.
Yeah,
So
that was what was happening.
Okay.
Was there was a fight, and I was pointing it out, and he was like, "Oh," and so I wouldn't count that as not finishing because
You didn't leave the stage.
I didn't leave the stage.
No.
Yeah, Doug walked out, and we were on stage at the same time for a minute while we figured out what was happening, and then I left.
That's kind of part of Doug Stanhope's show. Something like that has to happen.
Yeah.
We did a movie together last month in
Oh,
Chicago.
yeah, I saw the picture. I
Yeah.
was jealous. I was like, he didn't ask me to be in the movie.
I know. Well, I filled in. Bobcat Goldthwait got COVID, so they called me with 3 days' notice, and it was like
my God.
lot of lines, and I'm not good
Really?
at lines at all. And but we did.
You're not? I would think you would be.
No, I'm not good at. It's like a muscle, and I just haven't been acting very much. So it's like, You know, when I used to audition for stuff, I used to ingest lines, but now it's like fucking. Luckily, the director was very loose, like kind of do what you want.
Okay.
Which is always a relief when you're freaking out and then you get there and they're like, oh no, don't be married to the lines. You're like,
oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah. You've done some acting. Awesome. I want to rip through these real quick. You did Veep. I don't remember seeing you on Veep.
I had one line.
Oh, what was it?
My line was, luckily they were able to remove the mass without a full mastectomy, so I got to keep my nipple. Woohoo.
That's fantastic. I get the whole episode in that one line.
Yeah, that was the line.
Oh, that's great.
So it was a date. It was a date with the young guy.
Which guy?
I always forget his name. I'm bad with names.
Michael? No.
The tall young guy. The
geeky guy?
Is he geeky? No, he's not geeky. He's cute. The cute tall
Is he an
guy?
asshole on the show?
Yeah. I think
he runs for office?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had
what's his name again?
Oh, yeah, he's great.
We only had one date, so
wow.
I don't remember.
Did you get residuals from that?
A little bit, but not. I don't remember. I think I get more for Modern Family.
Oh, yeah. That thing reruns like crazy.
Yeah. So I have more, but not a lot. I don't get a lot of.
It's amazing when you think about actors that have, like, you look at some people's IMDb and they've just done guest spots on shows.
Yeah.
If you do one big show like Modern Family, you get paid for 15, 20 years.
That's true.
I mean, the checks get small, but...
Yeah, they're pretty small.
But still.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
All right, last question I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
And then we're going to do an episode of Talk Your Way Out of It after the show.
What's that again?
I ask you a really awkward question where you get yourself in a situation that you're stuck in, and then I ask you to talk your way out of it. And you look right at the camera and you pretend you're talking to the person that you're talking your way out of it with.
Oh, I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
it's like an acting exercise.
It's like an acting exercise.
Yeah.
It's like Curb Your Enthusiasm, kind of.
Have you been on Curb?
No.
No? You'd be good on that.
I would love to be on that. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, you'd be good.
All right. What have you learned about yourself during COVID?
I learned that I am not bad at being alone. I'm like pretty good at it. And I enjoy it. I really enjoy being alone. Not forever, like I don't want to spend my entire life alone, but I enjoy, like I could go a week like not seeing anyone, be totally fine.
Really?
Yeah.
So going
And
on
I get a lot done and
Yeah.
I'm creative and I feel in a good space and
Yeah.
I don't get lonely really.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person you want to be in a relationship with.
True.
You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who has to be with somebody else all the time.
No, which is ironic because like when I say that I have codependent tendencies, I think those are, it's not like a typical like I'm clingy or anything.
Right.
It's more like I project things on other people or like I'm focused on what other people think. That's kind of a big thing with codependency. It's like, what's that person thinking? So you hyper focus on other people. But as far as being alone, I'm like totally fine with that.
That's amazing. What a gift. Especially when you're a comic and you got to spend
That's
3 days
true.
in a hotel room every week.
I
It's
know some
hard.
comics don't like being alone at
I
all.
love it.
You love it?
Love it.
Yeah. See, that's when you know we have the same birthday.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Our birthday's coming up.
Yep.
This will probably maybe I'll air this on our birthday.
You should air it on our birthday.
Our birthday is April 5th, and I'm gonna try to air this as close to that as possible. And yeah, I should have got you a gift. You know what? That is your gift, actually. You get
really?
the Fitzdog radio.
I get to
mug.
keep this?
You get to drink out of it, and then you keep it.
I actually needed a new mug.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'd give you this black dog, but it has too much sentimental value.
Oh, this one's great.
All right, you've got some tour dates coming up. You'll be at the Moon Tower Comedy Festival in Austin, Texas on April 30th through the 20th through the 23rd. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Just doing a bunch of shows.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It's a lot of comics doing that festival.
Oh, yeah. It's fun.
Are you doing it?
No, I did it one year, and Michael Che was there, and we did the podcast walking around Austin. I just put the recorder in my bag, and we just walked around and talked. A lot of homeless people. We talked to a lot of
Yeah.
homeless people, basically.
Nice.
And then he got Saturday Night Live the next week.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? So you're saying it's good luck to be on your
think so.
podcast? Something good is going to happen.
Laughs in Seattle, Washington on May 13th through the 14th. Acme Comedy Club. Talk about an A room. Minneapolis,
I'm doing my
Minnesota.
next album there, actually.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, that weekend.
Wow.
So I still have to finish writing it.
Okay. June
But
15th through 18th.
Yeah, it's kind of soon.
If you need help writing it, well, we'll be working together before then. So I'll watch your set, and maybe I'll have some taglines.
I would
and
love
stuff.
that. Yeah.
Let's work on each other's material.
Oh my
while we work
gosh,
together.
that would be productive, and I would love that.
Okay.
I would love your honest feedback.
good, and I would
Yeah.
love yours.
Okay.
This is going to be a
Great.
productive week.
Yes.
I used to do that so much more when I was younger. Me and the other comics would always work on each other's sets. And,
I like that. And
Yeah.
I'm not that precious with it. Like, I really am open to
yeah.
feedback.
And again, the more crowd work, the better. Helium Comedy Club in Portland, Oregon, June 30th through July 2nd. And all tickets are available at Erica Rhodes with an RHODES.com. And there you can read her blogs. You can look at some videos. And it's an experience, really, your website.
Yeah, I need to update some of it, but we're working towards that.
Goals for 2022.
Yes.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That
Yeah.
flew by.
That did fly by.
That really did.
I know, but then we're not done. We still got to do the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.